Her name was Shayla, a name she chose herself when she felt safe enough to be born again under her own terms. She was a trans woman from Latin America. She was an immigrant to Canada. She was my first trans patient, and she was the beginning of something new. One day she looked straight into my eyes, and with a voice she had slowly learned to own, a voice with no mask, she told me, "It is about time you help us. We have been waiting for so long." I have been a clinical psychologist for almost 2 decades. For many years, I was happy seeing patients and finding what makes them unique, helping them to reconnect with their own selves and move forward. But there was always some invisible barrier where I could help less when the pain and the damage they had gone through was systemic. Systemic racism, classism, xenophobia, homophobia, or transphobia. In other words, systemic hate. Shayla reminded me it was time we do something about it. It didn't have to be big, it didn't have to challenge all the barriers or change the world, but it had to be done. She knew other Latino trans women who lived in Toronto and had no place to meet, to talk, to connect, and learn from each other. There was no place for them to be in daylight and feel respected and dignified for who they were, persons. So we created a place for them. We called it TLO, Trans Latinas Ontario. It is a strong group who meets weekly. It has 30 participants now after over 3 years of existence. And with some help from wonderful people who really cared, they have created their own trans spa, a space for trans people of all races and backgrounds that focuses on well-being, mental health, and self-care, and builds up social and economic inclusion. It is run by them and keeps on growing. Recently, some of them have created their own digital stories as a way of dismantling the ignorance that makes us believe we are not whole, that we are not one. These stories show the women that they are and highlight their lived experiences that are usually made invisible by social prejudice. That day, Shayla looked straight into my eyes. She embodied some sort of hope in humanity. Maybe you will cross paths one day with her or with one of them, and you will be able to recognize that hope and see them as they are, unbroken. We didn't mean to change the world, but truth be told, the world has changed a bit because of us.